I still remember the smell of the rice fields in the early morning. The air was cool, fresh, and damp with dew, and the sky would slowly shift from a deep blue to soft pink and gold as the sun began to rise over the hills. That was my home hour, quiet village, hidden between green hills and endless fields of rice. It was a place where people worked hard, laughed in the evening, and went to bed early. It was also the place where my dreams began. My name is Zav, and I was born in a small wooden house with a roof that leaked when it rained. We didn't have much, but we had each other, my father, my mother, my little sister, and me. My father was a farmer, strong and silent, with hands rough from years of planting and harvesting. My mother sold vegetables in the market, smiling even when she was tired. Every morning, they woke up before the sun rose, ready to work another long day. I was 12 years old when I realized how hard life could be. My clothes were old, my shoes had holes, and I carried my school books in a plastic bag because we couldn't afford a backpack. But I never complained. I knew my parents were doing their best, and I wanted to make them proud. After school, I helped my father in the fields, carrying water, pulling weeds, planting rice. My hands were small, but they learned the rhythm of work quickly. At night, we ate together, and then I studied by candlelight because we didn't always have electricity. Some days, my eyes would burn from tiredness, but deep inside, a small fire kept me awake. I had a dream. I wanted to be a teacher. Not just any teacher, a teacher who could help children in villages like mine to learn and have a better future. I believed education could change everything. It could lift my family out of poverty, help my sister go to school, and make our lives easier. Most of all, it gave me hope. English was my favorite subject. I would stand in front of a small mirror and speak sentences I heard on the radio, trying to sound like the announcers. I believed that if I learned English well, more doors would open for me. But life in the village was not easy. Some years the rains didn't come and the crops failed. There were days when we had little to eat. Still, I never missed school, even when I had to walk 5 kilometers through mud. One year, our teacher announced an important English exam. If I passed, I could win a scholarship to a better school in town, a place with computers, real English teachers, and a library. I studied harder than ever, staying up late every night. My parents encouraged me. My father simply said, "We believe in you." My mother smiled quietly and prepared my favorite meal the night before the test. On exam day, I walked to school with a heart full of hope. I read every question carefully, answered with all the knowledge I had, and went home imagining what life at the town school would be like. A week later, the results were posted. I pushed through the crowd of students, looking for my name. Once, twice, it wasn't there. I had failed. The scholarship was gone. My dream seemed to vanish in a single moment. That night, I didn't open my books. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling heavy and ashamed. Maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe the others were right. Maybe I was dreaming too big. The next morning, I didn't want to go to school. But then I saw my little sister getting ready, tying her books with a piece of string. She looked at me and asked, Will you still help me with my homework today? Her eyes were full of trust. In that moment, I realized my dream wasn't just about MIT, was about my family and showing others that failure doesn't mean the end. That night, I lit the candle again and opened my books. I didn't know when the next opportunity would come, but I promised myself one thing: I would not quit. Months later, something unexpected happened. A new teacher, Miss Theory, noticed how I worked in class. One day, she flipped through my notebook, filled with self-study notes and small drawings. "You've taught yourself a lot," she said. "That takes real discipline." No teacher had ever spoken to me like that before. Then she asked, "Would you like me to help you after school?" My heart jumped. From that day on, I stayed after class to study with her. She corrected my pronunciation, helped me understand grammar, and introduced me to new opportunities, like a youth English camp in town. At the camp, I met students from different schools, practiced speaking with strangers, and discovered I could be confident in front of others. For the first time, I believed I could really achieve something big. The following year, another big competition was announced: a speech contest in English. The winner could apply for a scholarship to study in the city. The topic was close to my heart: how a village boy can hope for a better life. I practiced every day after school, speaking to empty classrooms, reading in front of the mirror, and improving my eye contact. Miss Theory guided me step by step. When the day came, I walked on stage with my hands shaking. I looked at the judges, then at the audience, and I spoke from my heart. I told them my story of muddy roads, candlelight study, laughter, failure, and hope. Weeks later, the results came. I had ranked in the top 5% in the region. I was eligible for the scholarship interview. The interview in the city was unlike anything I had experienced. Tall buildings, noisy traffic, bright lights. It was a new world. But I stayed calm. When they asked why I wanted the scholarship, I told them the truth: because I want to help other children the way my teacher helped me. When I got the news that I had won, my parents cried quietly. Even the classmates who once laughed at me now smiled and said, "Well done." In the city, I studied hard, but I never forgot my village. Every weekend I returned home. I started a small study group at the monastery, teaching English to children who had no electricity or proper books. We studied by candlelight, just as I once had. One elder said he left to learn, but he came back to teach. That was the greatest compliment I could receive. Years passed. I finished school, became a teacher, and even wrote a small book about my journey. Looking back, I realized success is not about money or fame. It's about growth, belief, and lifting others as you rise. When I stand in front of my students, now some without shoes, some hungry, but all with dreams in their eyes, I see myself in them. And when they understand a new word or dare to speak in English for the first time, I know I have truly succeeded.